Welcome to Real Sense Now, the podcast where we delve into the latest trends, stories that shapes our world today. I'm your host, Dawood Bedrosian, and today we're honored to have a truly exceptional guest, a dear friend of mine. Joining us today is Mr. Ernest Wiggins II, a former professional 100-meter sprinter for Team USA, an inductee of both the NCAA Athletic Hall of Fame and the Appalachian State University and North Carolina Rowan County Athletic Hall of Fame. He's a dedicated philanthropist, entrepreneur, and so much more. His achievements stem far beyond just pure athleticism. He's worked with some of the greatest athletes, and his philosophy of becoming legendary doesn't come from the victories that he's claimed, but from the hard work that you've endured to claim your victory. He resonates deeply with many, and in this episode, we're going to explore his multifaceted career, the lessons he's learned along the way, and his experience that intersects with sports, the business world, and just being a legendary human being who lives earnestly.
What's up, baby?
Ernest,
How's it going?
how are we really doing today?
Beautiful. It's been a great week.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. Went to a beautiful concert last night. One of my idols. So I'm happy, man. I'm on cloud 9.
You look like you're on cloud
Yeah.
nine. I think we're going to take this interview to like cloud
37.
infinity. You ready?
That'll work. Let's do it.
I'm sitting in front of Ernest Wiggins, also known as Atlas.
That's right.
How did you earn the name Atlas?
It came years ago by Coach Brooks Johnson. So when I made my first USA team, he was my coach and down here at Wildwater Sports. And he kept picking on my size because at the time I was the heaviest sprinter in the nation, third heaviest sprinter in the world. And it was Indoor Championships 2006. And we're getting ready for a race at, I think it was Madison Square Garden. And he's like, Atlas running down the track. And this guy's like 70-something years old, has on cowboy boots, a leather jacket. And in front of everyone, he's like, look at this dude looking like damn Atlas running down the track. So he has like his arms like this, jumping down the hallway. And it stuck. So everybody in the track world, particularly USA, if you're at that level, they knew me as Atlas. And so years later, when I started my company, I was like, what can I name my company? And if you know me, I'm very just original. I'm just authentic. And I was like, Atlas Speed. My coach called me Atlas. I'm known for speed. Atlas, it used to be, if you look at the demigods in the Odyssey, it's not a privilege to be called Atlas. It's actually a punishment. But I said, I'm going to take my world and I want to direct it in my direction, which way I want to go, which is positive. So that's how I became Atlas Speed. And I just played off that name and it's worked for me. It's become who I am.
It is who you are.
Yeah.
For the listeners that don't know who you are and probably are just seeing this incredible image on the screen, I always say that Atlas, you're nothing short than a human specimen.
Appreciate
You are
it.
definitely at the peak of your training, your game, your coaching, and everything that you do, your businesses, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I want to talk about and tell our audience what kind of an athlete you really are and at what level have you really competed in. Because I can tell you one thing, I've had many guests on my radio show, on my podcast. I've never had an Olympian that competed in probably the most revered, most prestigious event in all of the Olympics, which is?
Of course, the Olympics for majority of those who know about track and field and sports in general. I've been blessed to be a homegrown country boy. So I've gotten to the level of my athletics naturally. I was blessed to also be picked to be on Team USA. Now, I was on, let's say, the relay pool, so I was an alternate. Now, here's the thing about sports, and I can say this big time with confidence. If you're not the starter or the finalist, you really don't talk about being on the team like that if you're a backup, because it's kind of like, we kind of joked about this yesterday, being a varsity athlete opposed to being on the JV. And even though I was on Team USA, I felt like I was the backup. So I didn't take a lot of like pride into it, but a lot of people say you should be prideful of this because you're one of the fastest humans in the world. So I've been blessed to get to that level without taking PEDs, supplements for that matter, or steroids. I just took the God's grace and my natural ability and my mental aspect, spiritual as well, to get to that level.
Love it.
Yeah.
So what events did you compete at? Which Olympics did you compete at?
So my main event was the 100 meter, but I was selected to run on the 4x100 meter relay, and it was Athens, Greece. Been an alternate, so I was blessed to run in the Sherbrooke Games, being selected to run in numerous other Team USA events across the world. But being able to be selected and be part of Team USA, it's a blessing. It is a true blessing because you get to see the world and you get to perform on the highest level of athletic performance than anywhere else in the world.
You visited 26 countries?
I've competed in 36 countries.
36, not 26.
I've visited 43 countries in total.
All because of the speed of your legs.
All because of my legs, man. And that's what people don't understand. Like, I love football, and actually I was better in football than I was in track.
And you have a great story to tell us about that, but we're just going to save that one for later.
We can save it for later.
Because that one broke my heart.
Yeah, that can actually get me to run through a wall when I bring that back up. But it's going to be awesome because it's the truth, man. And it's the ingredient to who Ernest is, who Atlas is, because I was able to use that ingredient of my football experience to travel to 36 countries. And people see me run the 100 meter or 4x100 for that matter and show them who it is to be the world's fastest human or one of the world's fastest humans just from having a chip on your shoulder.
You know, they say that your body is the projection of your mind. Mm-hmm. What's going through your mind when you're setting up and right beside you is Usain Bolt, the fastest human being on the planet?
Oh, you're
supposed to be like in the top 2 or 3 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
But then there's this giant of a man that's like running beside you whose legs look like, I don't know, ostriches or something or the other.
So I was blessed to race against him before he really took off. So before he really claimed that 100 meter spot, he was still running the 400, 200. And both times I got 5th place, which is okay with me. You know, I was there.
It's okay with me too, by the way.
Yeah. But it's like this, you know, for my event, I'm still somewhat tall, 6'1". Majority of the sprinters are 5'10" and shorter. And then none of them are over 200 pounds. I'm 6'1". At the time when I'm racing, 205 to 207, 208 pounds.
It's a lot of weight to move.
Yeah, Usain Bolt is 6'5", whereas the size, I'm assuming size 14 shoe. So when you're coming out, you're thinking, I need to get out as fast and as powerful as I can to get that lead. But knowing this guy is so talented at any given moment, projecting it up, right? Around the 60 meter mark, you're going to start seeing those long legs, see that core, see him moving, and he's accelerating past. And I tell everybody this, football players, baseball players, some of them may think they're fast. There's another universe, another galaxy of speed. Even for track and field athletes, you get to that top tier, you're that 1%, there's another 1%, even less than that, there's another galaxy ahead. And you're like, people talk about superhumans all the time. Jokingly, there are superhumans on this planet. Usain Bolt is one of them. I mean, you just cannot hide that kind of speed. And when you see it in person, when you're racing against it, you're like, wow, like everything I've tried and practiced and prepared myself for has not suited me for this moment because there's another level to the speed. And it's just amazing, man.
Have you ever felt that you've hit that 1% of the 1%?
I felt like I hit that 1%. Once I experienced the next level, I was like, I know I'm not going to be able to get there because there's also other things that play in the part to that extra 1% of the 1%. Most athletes aren't going to sit here and talk about it, but I will. You have the performance-enhancing drugs. That's something I promised my grandmother that I would never do. Because if I would have gotten caught, there's no way I would be able to look at my family in their eyes and say, yeah, I did this to try to become the best of the best. I thought about money, the fast cash, opposed to our family legacy, my last name, and the people who matter most in my life, which is my family. So I decided there's no point. I'm just, get to that 1%. If I can't get beyond that, God gifted me with talent to be one of the fastest humans on this earth. Might have been for a short time, but like I say, at one point I was ranked number 13 in the world, or at one point had the first or second or third fastest time in the world. I'm okay with that. Might have lasted a day, might have lasted a month, might have lasted 3 months.
I can just imagine that feeling of
Oh, yeah.
breaking a world record or
Having that fastest time in the world. Like, I did that naturally. I did that with my own heart, my own mindset. You can't take that away from me. Yeah, someone had to take something. Yeah, you had to take something to outrun me. I'm just a country boy. Yeah, I'm all about that grit and grind. Let's go get it. Let's go ahead and put it on out there. Let's see what you got. And if you can't look at me in the eye, or if you can't say I didn't take anything, I know I got you. Because you, at the end of the day, you had to take something to outrun me.
I love it.
Yeah, man.
Love it. And you know, I hope you're strapped into your seat right now, because I definitely don't want you going through the wall.
That seat might come with me, dog.
Told me a story that broke my heart.
Yeah.
Just listening to it.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what you went through. As a result of that, I took that story, and we both are coaching a kid that's clearly on the way to possibly going into the NBA. And he's stuck, and he feels like he's going to lose his opportunity. And I think when we shared his story, it just completely changed his worldview. Talk to me about that transition. Talk to me about where you're at. Tell us the story in as much detail as you're willing to share.
You talking about the football story?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So one big ups to your friend and his son who reached out to me. You know, I really hope he takes that story and take his 7'1" frame and just go get it, no matter what, no matter who's trying to hold him down. But those who know me know my first love is football. Born and bred, I'm a football player. Ended up becoming a pretty good running back my senior year, really good running back. But the sad part is I'm from North Carolina, the sticks of Rowan County, China Grove, South Rowan. Always going to be a Raider. But we had a wishbone formation offense. So the two running backs, one, his father and uncle was the president and vice president of the Booster Club. The other running back, his dad was a defensive back coach. Me, I was just a kid who was trying his best to find the opportunity to succeed. My mother worked nonstop. My father passed when I was 4 due to a car accident. We didn't grow up where it was like I came from a bad side of town. It was different for us due to the fate of the world, the fate of the universe. But at the end of the day, here's this kid who is trying every bit to gain awareness of who he is with his potential. Who is a kid also trying to find himself, but he's fighting the political world with someone having their father and uncle being the president of the Booster Club. Again, the other kid, his dad is the coach of the defensive back coach. Every time I got the ball, it was always positive yards. Very few times, if I can send you every film I have from my senior year, there's very few times there's negative yardage. Usually I'm getting 6 points, I'm running somebody over, or I'm gaining 60 yards. I would bring the crowd to their feet. But also noticing I didn't start. Why not? Because of what was going on in front of me. And it broke my heart so much. I remember one time I told my coach I was going to quit because it's like, man, I'm this young. I'm 16 years old. I see what's going on. I'm 17 years old. I see what's going on. Keith Garrett is only starting in front of me is because his dad is forking out the money for our team. Teray Gertie is starting because his dad is the defensive back coach. That is not cool. You telling me these guys get to start over me when every time I touch the ball, defenders are on their backs. The sports announcer says, literally, I'm excited to see number 18 play. When he gets the ball, oh my God, he's electrifying. I have the tape that proves that. But yet, I don't deserve the opportunity. I've grown. I hit my growth spurt. I'm getting stronger. When I excel through the line of scrimmage, my acceleration brings the crowd to their feet. It makes the commentators go in awe. So I was like, you know what? This is not fair. But I'm going to try to just stay in shape for football. So my junior year going into my senior year, I ran track. And the craziest thing happened to me. I just took all that anger, and when I got into the blocks, There's an explosion I've never felt before. And I can feel the tingling going through my thighs right now. And I won my first track meet. And I was like, oh, snap. I don't have to depend on 10 other people to get the job done. I like this. And then the more races I ran, I became more confident. I found out who I was. All this I experienced, I was like, I can put this out on the track and I'm winning. This is where I want to go. And I remember I almost beat, at the time, he was the consensus Gatorade Player of the Year, Nick Maddox. He ran for A.L. Brown. He played for A.L. Brown. He ended up playing football for Florida State. Then he played in the NFL for a couple years. But I almost outran him in the 100 meter. And my principal came over and he said, Big E, I think you found your lane. I think you found your purpose. And he was like, I've never seen anyone almost run down Nick Maddox. This is it for you. And that gave me the confidence boost, like a turbo, like a supercharger, like nitric oxide to a car, to let's go do it. So my senior year, I didn't lose a single race until states. States, I got third. Nationals, got eighth. Because I took all that's been bottled up inside me since high school, middle school and high school for that matter, applied it to the track and just annihilated my competition. Because everything I experienced in football was not fair. Now I'm putting in a lane where my result, my effort creates the result that I'm looking for. Nobody can hold me down. Politics can't hold me down.
Purely on your merit.
Just on my merit. And I got to go against other guys going straight ahead. They're not going through what I'm going through. I get to eat you alive because you haven't been through what I've been through.
Look at the intensity of this man. He's just telling a story that maybe is, I don't know, 20 years old or something.
I think about it every day because I can only imagine if I was able to play football.
So what happened? That's the part of the story I want to talk about.
What could have happened? So what happened is, man, I went from being one of the best in the state to getting that opportunity at Appalachian State. And so they was like, we would love for you to come run track for us. I said, you're going to get the greatest sprinter you've ever met in your life. I'm going to become the greatest sprinter ever at Appalachian State University. I became that. Not only did I become that within a year, because the first year running for Appalachian State, I ran the second fastest time in the world. The one who had the fastest 55 meter was Tim Montgomery. He ran a 6.15 and ran a 6.16. Months later, he got popped for PEDs. And I was like, again, all that anger made me one of the fastest men in the world. Became a 2-time All-American for Appalachian State. Voted top 100 in the 100-year anniversary team for the Southern Conference. NCAA Hall of Famer. Team USA. Ran for Nike. Next thing you know, I'm running across the world. All because of that moment where I could have let it tear me down or I let it build me up. I let it build me up.
But then something happened in between. You had an opportunity of a lifetime to cross over and get back into the sport you loved.
So I'm glad you remember that. Yeah, so my senior year at Appalachian State, of course, I'm on top of the world and the nation. Just I'm doing everything right. And I'm prepared for nationals. And my coach comes up to me and he was like, yeah, I just want to let you know, the Raiders called for you, but I told them to wait till after you graduated. And that ripped me apart for a couple of days because I said, Coach, do you realize the opportunity that has been laid in front of me? You kind of just pushed it to the side. They're not going to call me back because what's going on is that there's a pool of athletes and they're going to go and call. They're going to go and call. And you literally told them to call back later. If we called a friend of mine named Brian Burney, he can vouch for this. That night, I was in the the dorm in the lobby, and I destroyed the lobby. Couches flying. I don't know how big your couch is at home. I'm picking couches up, throwing them across the lobby because I have this opportunity to play for the Raiders, possibly in the NFL. And that's one dream I've always had that I did not realize is catching a sliding pass in the end zone in the NFL. I've had millions of other dreams. I've lived 99.9% of them. The one dream I've never lived is catching a pass, sliding catch in the end zone. So, of course, we're bumping heads, me and my coach, and then he apologized. And I was like, that was the biggest dream that I've always wanted to look forward to. And he was like, I'm sorry, but that was possibly, a blessing in disguise. Looking back at it, it is a blessing because who knows? I could have went and tried out, made the practice squad or whatnot, got hit in the knees or CTE for that matter. And my life wouldn't be what it is today. So it was a missed opportunity. It tore me apart. But I look at it as a blessing because now I'm looking at 43 countries, 36 countries. I can go in any country and meet a friend of mine. Also, I became Atlas Speed. Would I've had that name if I went to the NFL? Probably not. But it is something I think about every day. Those two opportunities I think about every single day. And I think that's what has made me who I am.
You've gone so much further and helped more people along the way in your journey. Mm-hmm. Your journey from being an Olympic level sprinter to the way that I know you today, a coach, an entrepreneur, it's truly inspiring. Can you share what motivated this transition from simply being a world-class athlete, and I don't mean to say this in a diminishing tone of voice, to working with some of the top golfers, tennis players, when it comes to your business? And how do you turn around these athletes that are stuck, that their game is in their head?
Yeah.
And you need to turn this around. And of course, eventually turn this into a business as well, too.
Right. Well, honestly, the transition, I had help from that. My godfather, Rosario Poma, the name rings well in the Orlando community. He sat me down one day. He was like, the way you look at sports and break down sports, I've never seen anyone do this before. Literally, we were watching football games and I could break it down for him. He was like, you need to go into being a coach. First, I was like, I don't want to be the fat guy blowing the whistle, driving the gator. I hate that. I've seen it way too many times in my life. So that's my thought process. Also,
you couldn't have picked a more stereotypical.
He's here, right? But he was like, nah, man, just take who you are from an athlete standpoint, apply it to business. I was like, all right, cool. And I can tell you one thing, my addiction is competition. My addiction is being in that stadium. My addiction is just smelling the art of sportsmanship. I mean, there's no better drug for me.
And knowing you, I would probably have to agree.
Yeah. It is hard for me to drive slow. And I have the tickets to prove it. So what can I do as a businessman to take that kind of personality, that need, that addiction, and apply it to other athletes? So I started off, of course, training young athletes to kind of get my, I guess, not only my persona, but my experience increased. I need to know what I'm doing, make sure I know how to do it properly, because each athlete can't take my mindset, can't take my drive. So I always know I want to get to that top level, but I need to start somewhere to build up my repertoire.
Can it be taught?
Can it be taught? Success?
Mindset.
Mindset?
That 1% top athlete mindset. I mean, I know you need the physical.
Well, the top athlete mindset is the killer instinct. I don't think killer instinct can be taught. You either have it or you don't.
Does killer instinct often come from trauma?
Yes. Pain comes from success. Success, comes from pain. Success comes from trauma. I've seen it more than my share, even though I don't show it. But again, those experiences have helped me bottle it up, compartmentalize it, and use it to excel. And I think athletes have to go through something. You have your very few, like the Manning brothers. You have very few, or like Bronny James. You have very few that don't have to go through that pain. LeBron James went through that pain. Michael Jordan went through that pain. There's a lot of athletes that go through certain pain to get to that success level, but you have to go through something. You have to have a moment where you're starving for something. You need to eat something. Something's not on your plate. You need to have it. And you don't have it. So you're lusting for it. You're praying for it. You just have to have it. And then you finally get a small appetizer of it. You get a small little niblet of it. You're like, all right, I need more of it. I want more of it. I want more of it. And that's how people become successful. You'll find that trust fund babies don't become, you have, of course, our president. That's one story. But A lot of trust fund babies don't necessarily go out and be killers in the sports world because they have never been taught how to hunt properly. You got to be hungry to hunt. If you're not hungry to hunt, then you're not going to hunt. I've been starved way too many times. That's why I like to hunt, as either as an athlete, a businessman, or a spiritual leader.
You know, on my show, I like to give people tactical strategies, something you can actually implement yourself. Not, hey, it works for Atlas, it doesn't work for me. In high performance sports, we always hear about the most powerful tool, which is visualization.
Yes.
Can you actually explain to me how you've used visualization both on the track and more importantly now in all of your business ventures, training some of the top athletes in the world?
Right.
I mean, I want to learn it.
Right.
My audience wants to learn it.
Right.
How does an Olympian at the level at which you compete every day use this tool?
Man, from an Olympian to a businessman to someone who wants to live an everyday better life, it all starts with visualization. I mean, it can start with dreaming, turn it into a reality. But first, you got to write it down. And that's one of my biggest things in manifesting. You got to write it down. And you have to be pure about your purpose. You can't just say, I want a Gucci shirt and hopefully it just appear in your head. That's way too easy. It has to be shape-shifting. It has to be mountain moving. So writing something down, it could be 3 goals, 5 goals. But then once you write these goals down, I mean, these goals have to be something that you purely are driven to succeed in life, that will change your life, your legacy as well. And you have to believe in it, like an obsessed belief, a crazed belief. And one thing you'll notice about the greatness of people and people that we all look up to, they're never called stupid. They're called crazy. And that's a thin line between crazy and stupid. But the crazy people, there's a belief system that they have these goals written down, or they have this visual in their mind, and they believe in it. It's going to work no matter what. I mean, those who are very close to me can tell you, I write down very little. There's a couple things I write down, which are my goals, and I go to my family farm and I throw them in the well, or I have them somewhere in my house or my car. But it's a thing where I believe in something so much, someone can say, man, you're crazy. It's not going to work. Then it happens. Taking an athlete that's from Latvia, saying, we're going to win a major, we're going to win US Open, and actually go and do it. Owning a particular car, writing it down and saying, I want to achieve this. And a year later, 2 years later, actually getting that exact car at the dealership, being top drafted or running a specific time. When you believe something so much, you become that thing. You train it. You eat in a particular way. You sleep the way you're supposed to. You surround yourself with particular friends. You put yourself in a room where you're not the smartest person in the room. That's one thing I can grant my success to. I've always put myself where I can pridefully say I'm one of the dumbest persons in the room, because I need to learn. I need to be able to move my spirit at another frequency that I've never been before. And other athletes, other people have to be used to that. Some people are so insecure about putting themselves in a room where, oh my God, they might be smarter than me. They may be better than me. Well, don't you want to be the better person than you were yesterday? So you have to put yourself in an uncomfortable environment so you can move up. Just like when I was talking to our good friend, the athlete who's 7'1", he's went through those experiences. I'm like, write down what you went through. Write down what you want to go through. Write down what you want to succeed, and believe in that success like it's already happening. Believe in it. Make it where it's happening right now, and it will become the right now.
I have this quote, which is, I believe in the end before the end.
Mm-hmm.
I read a wonderful book recently, which is called 10X is easier than 2X.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a business and if you want to 2X your business, all you have to literally do is just essentially work harder.
Yeah.
That's all you can do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to 10X your business,
Mm-hmm.
you have to completely think in a completely different way.
Yeah.
It's not, same, different, or different, same, or whatever the
You got to
phrase
change
goes.
yesterday's thought.
Yeah. And to invent yourself from the end cannot be done from the present self of who you are.
Yeah.
You don't have the skill sets. You don't
Yeah.
have the wherewithal. You don't have the ability. You don't have the education. You don't have the resources.
Mm-hmm.
But thinking from the end, as we all know, our brain has what everybody talks about all the time, which is the reticular activating system.
Mm-hmm.
That sole job is like the little pirate that used to sit in the basket on top of the ship.
Yeah.
His job was to do one thing and one thing only.
Mm-hmm.
Look out for danger.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any other job,
Yeah.
right? And that's how your mind works. And in
Mhm.
the same token, if you understand how your subconscious is, it's like
Mhm.
a deep, dark well.
Yes.
Whatever you feed it and tell it, it believes.
Exactly.
It's literally that stupid.
And that's what people don't understand. Like, you have to continue to think positive and have that foresight that greater things are going to happen. Just believe greater things are going to happen. If you keep thinking, oh, this happened to me yesterday, I'm the victim, oh my God, guess what? Bad things are going to keep happening to you. People are going to overlook you because you put yourself in a victim mentality.
Correct.
Nobody has become president being victimized.
Absolutely not.
Michael Jordan never became Michael Jordan because he became victimized. He became the hunter of his vision.
Mental toughness is often the deciding factor between winning and losing.
Mm-hmm.
How do you cultivate mental toughness in moments of doubt, high pressure? And how can athletes and entrepreneurs alike adopt these techniques that you can share?
I always say probably my most famous quote, it sucks before it's successful. And people don't understand that. Could you tie your shoe the first time your parents taught you to tie your shoe?
Nope.
Could you ride a bike the first time you were taught how to ride a bike? Probably not.
Correct.
Did you woo your girlfriend the first time you ever laid the first kiss? Probably not. She probably said, oh, you need some Tic Tacs or something.
I don't know. I'm a pretty good kisser, so I normally get them from the first time.
Yeah. But we all have to remember, we all fail. And we seem to have this weird forgetfulness where we forget that we fail so much in life. And then we try something new and it's not going the way we think it is. And, oh, let me just stop it and do something else because I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to be insecure. I want to be the guy that embarrasses themselves or the woman who embarrasses themselves. And I think especially today's society, because of social media, has gotten way out of hand with looking down upon failure. The greatest people in life fell so many times.
And they failed forward too.
Yes, and they fell forward. If you see great people, they don't fail backwards, they fell forward. And if you fell enough and you keep trying, when you fell the 1,000th time, you were 999 steps ahead of what you were when you first started. That's what I love about the learning process, the journey itself, the excursion. I mean, I guess you can even say the expedition, because if you think about it, you're going over hills, valleys, rocks, fallen rocks. You're going to see wolves and bears. You got to watch out. But at the same time, when you get to that peak, that top of the mountain, it looks so great because you finally kept climbing. And people are afraid to keep climbing. They want the instant gratification. Nothing is instant gratification except, honestly, I hate to say it, excuse this scenario, this moment in life, but masturbation. That's it. Other than that, you got to work for it. You have to go out there and get it. You have to really put your foot in the ground, actually your knuckles in the ground as well, and go get it. If that goal is big enough, you got to say, all right, I failed once. I failed 10 times. This sucks. It really does suck. It sucks when you false start as a sprinter. Each time I false started as a sprinter, I cried in the corner. There's a time where I didn't have a good race, or I didn't make a top 3 or top 5, and I'm in the car crying. My coach literally says, I don't want you to cry. I need to feel this pain, because this pain is going to make me train harder. This pain is going to make me look at things differently. This pain is going to make me write down my goals differently. This pain is going to make me not hang around certain friends anymore because they were distractions. And I got to have a certain amount of friends that's going to help me lift up, focus more. When I'm comfortable and I feel confident, I perform my best. So I don't need people who are just, oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay to lose. No, it's not okay. I'm a hungry competitor. I need to win. So yeah, I'm a fail. I get what I failed at. I failed in business. I've lost a facility because of mismanagement, of mispartnership for that matter. Okay, I know what not to get in agreements with. Okay, I know who to partner up with. I know not to just let someone come into my life and take advantage of me. And then next thing I know, I'm sitting here like, darn, how am I going to look at the public and say, well, this is how I lost a facility? No, okay, this is how I lost a facility. I can't be afraid to talk about it, but this is how I'm going to keep growing. Because if I would have taken that moment where I lost the facility and said, oh, I'm so embarrassed because I failed, then I wouldn't have had the USA Open Championship. I wouldn't have had a golfer ranked number 2 in the world. I wouldn't have had 3 professional golfers. I wouldn't be speaking in Texas, flying out to Australia. I never gave up. And you see me on TV. You see me on ESPN. You see me on Golf Life, Golf Channel in 2024. But 4 years ago, I lost a facility that I gave up. The guy I partnered up with, he gave up. But he was the man that said, I would fail. I'm going to show you that I'm not going to fail.
That's the kind of firepower that I need in my life. It's the jet fuel that has always allowed me to catapult to the next level. And that is, tell me I can't do it.
Yeah, tell me I can't do it.
Tell me I can't do it.
Get your popcorn ready.
Yeah.
You know?
This is going to be a movie you're going to love and hate watching.
Yeah.
You know, I truly believe that the quote that I live by is, our greatest glory consists of not falling, but rising after each and every time you fall.
Phoenix.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Can confidence be trained just like a physical ability?
I think so. But confidence, unlike the killer instinct, it takes a lot. You have to go through a massive maturation phase, because some people aren't confident. They naturally are not confident. So you have to keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing and keep pushing. And a lot of times you need that help. You can't do it yourself because you're going to easily fall back into that trap. There's a lot of people who say, I wouldn't be able to do this by myself. Thank you for helping me become confident. So that moment, you can't do that by yourself because it's not a natural instinct for some people. Some people it is, but those people who have that natural instinct are also killers, or they're just great optimistics. Some people aren't. Some people are pessimists. So pushing them.
I want to share this story.
Yeah.
It's one I don't normally talk about, but my stepson is not my son.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm his stepdad, so to speak.
Yeah.
Mentor, big brother, whatever you want to call him.
Mm-hmm.
In high school, smaller kid, scrawny, learning disability, whatever else they told him.
Yeah.
They basically said that he wouldn't really amount to a whole lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he should consider going to a trade school or just finding a job, and so on and so forth. And I pushed him and I pushed him and I pushed him and I pushed him. He considered the military, he considered a whole bunch of stuff. And I just believed that he wanted more than what the options were given to him.
Mm-hmm.
We literally dragged him to the college. And he's like, listen, I'll only do it for like one semester, half a semester. I'll try it out. I don't think I'm going to like it. You know what I mean? I don't have any friends, so on and so forth. 4 months later, this kid's nailing A's left and right when he was a C, D, whatever student.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
He's in peak physical condition.
Mm-hmm.
He's making friends. His environment is different. And he called me today and he goes, today's my last day of the exam. I need to go back to college so that I can go and get the classes for the fall semester. Can we go and pay for the semester right now? Absolutely, nice. We can.
Yeah. You
can go and become a rocket scientist for all I care.
Mm-hmm.
I'm supporting you all the way.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you. You do need, I think confidence can be trained. I think different environments open up people's ability to see what's possible for them. You know, and I feel like there's people that fall into two schools of thought. And I've said this on the show many times.
Mm-hmm.
It's either I'll believe it and then I'll see it, or you're in the other camp. I'll see it and then I'll believe it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm unfortunately in let me see somebody else do it and watch me do it better.
Right.
Right? And I've been learning how to re-engineer it the other way around, and it's been working for me as well too, but that's my natural proclivity to how my brain works. You know, there's another really key area that I love being in, and I really feel like I can get to be in that space when I'm with you and when we engage and when we
Right.
enjoy our friendship together.
We get to let our hair down.
Well, yeah, no pun intended. I get to let my hair up.
Yeah.
You know, we're always in a flow state.
Mhm.
And we always keep talking to, or we keep hearing from athletes that often talk about being in a flow state where just everything clicks.
Mhm.
The ball's always there at the right time. You're always making a goal, a basket, whatever the case may be. What was that one moment in your business journey where you felt like, that's it, I'm in my zone?
Honestly, it's probably right now.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's taken a lot of trial and error, and experience, but it's gotten to the point where people at this point in the Orlando community, Greater Orlando, and internationally know who Ernest Wiggins, know who Atlas stands for. And for the longest, I've always tried to get people to understand, if they understand my vision, if they understand my passion, my heart, my spirit, then teaming up with them is going to be easy for them to win. Because at the end of the day, my biggest thing is I want to see you win. I already have the experience. I have the knowledge. I want to see you win. So it went from when I started Atlas Speed, training at up to 750 athletes a year. Now I'm down to 65 athletes a year. But those 65 athletes, majority of them are winners. And I'm talking about winning championships. That's where everything clicks, is when you team up with someone, let's go get this goal. And they believe in everything that you're bringing to the table, because I'm giving them, at the end of the day, I'm here to help you win. That's all I care about. And when they trust that and they believe in that, you see those athletes take it to the top. I see. So I say this moment right now, everything's clicking. I'm in the right circles. I'm with the right athletes, the right stadium, the right arena. Let's go get that trophy, man.
So if your life was a book, what would this chapter be called?
Can I say the name of the book?
Yeah.
The name of the book would be called Many Faces of a Gemini.
Nice.
And I would say it'd be a split of Denzel Washington and Will Smith, because the character never changed. It's the experiences that has changed. The only couple parts of where the character had to mature was, I would say, college. And when he had to really find himself, he had to go through some muck, some mud, some disturbance, some trauma, some nightmares to really become who he is today. So I would say Many Faces of a Gemini. One, because I am a Gemini.
Let's go back.
Yeah.
China Grove.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what did your childhood teach you about resilience and community?
I was blessed to be born and raised in our community called Neelytown. Neelytown, if you took Baldwin Park, or you take some subdivision with around 40 houses, 110 acres, 115 acres, that's all family. Grandparents, mom, dad, sisters, uncles, cousins, you name it, is there. It taught me competition. It taught me trust. It taught me community. And when you're in a particular community where everyone can trust each other, everyone relies on each other, people are going to be successful. And I think that was the gift that Neelytown birthed me with coming down to Orlando. Because I treat everyone, if you know Ernest, and if Ernest knows you, I'm going to treat you as if you're from Neelytown. I'm going to treat you as if you're my family. It's a gift and a curse, because I wear my heart on my sleeve. When I tell you my friend and I tell you I love you, I mean that.
That I know.
Yeah.
That I
know. It shakes a lot of people, because I don't consider myself just a friend. I consider myself your brother. And so that's how I was brought up. And even on my dad's side, where I have 7 other cousins, we were brought up as brothers. And so it's hard to really look at people, especially when you bring them to your circle and it's time to succeed or just be a brethren. It's hard to look at other people as just a friend. If I look at you as just a friend, I probably don't hang out with you. I probably really don't talk to you. If I consider you as a brother, just like the other day I reached out, hey man, let's hang out. I just need somebody to be around, because you remind me of someone in my family, because that's how I was raised. I got out of school. Whenever I got out of school, we're racing from mailbox to mailbox. We'll go do our homework. We'll come back out and play 21 basketball or pick up and bust in football. Or we're racing go-karts or dirt bikes. I have a group of friends here where we ride high-end cars on the weekends. So that became a segment of how I grew up. I have a group of business friends, just like my cousins on my dad's side, just like a couple cousins on my mom's side, where it's let's lift each other up.
How did losing your dad at such a young age shape your life mission and your competitive drive?
I could say like that's a part of me that people don't understand, because I perform almost every day as if he were able to come from the heavens and walk this earth, he'd come and say, son, I'm proud of the man you've become. But that was also a huge missing link in my life. Again, my closest friends, they can tell you, I cling to their fathers, or I cling to the men in my life because that was a missing link I had. I've always, and I still have dreams about seeing my father. This is a man that for 4 years, I still have memories of this guy that people say, how do you remember those things? And I think because of that trauma, I have a very good memory. I can remember things most people like, how do you remember those steps? Because having that man in my life, my father, and then he's taken away from me. My addiction to cars comes from my father. Him having the Nissan 280Z, which is a collector's item now, him doing funny car drag strip racing, and my addiction to going fast on the highway. Then understanding his lineage to a race car driver, our Uncle Charlie Wiggins, and I see why my father did it. I see why I'm like this. Then his group of friends, weirdly enough, are like my group of friends. And there's a picture where he's in a group of friends, and if you know me, you know I'm not racist, but it's my father and a bunch of white dudes just hanging out. And if you look at my core group of friends, and there's 4 of them, or 3 of them really, and then I have my 2 other best friends who are black, but my core group of white guys, again, nothing racist. It's just weird how that happens. And if you look at that picture of my dad and his friends, and you look at the picture of me and my friends, you'll be like, yeah, you guys are just alike. But it's almost like he's channeled himself through me.
You.
Yeah.
When did you realize athletics could have easily been the path to your healing or greatness?
It was the moment I stepped on the track.
Yeah?
And I let it all out. Track probably saved my life, to be honest with you, because there's a moment where, again, I can go back and talk about my father. I was lost because he wasn't there. My mom always talked about just work, 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 work. She didn't really say go out there and find your passion in life.
What did she say to you?
Work. Don't have a champagne mind with a Milwaukee pocketbook.
Like that.
Yeah. And I love my mom to death, and we'll probably get into it sooner or later.
You can get into it right now?
Yeah. So, funny enough, I nicknamed my mom Hitler back in the day because she was very hard on me. She wanted me to be successful in education, but she didn't understand that I'm a very positive person. I'm a very passionate person. I got to do things that I love to do. But when I stepped on the track, thinking about not having my father, thinking about being bullied, thinking about things that I went through, track was my outlet. And again, if I didn't have track, man, my life could have been different because of the pain of my mom being too strict, not having that male figure in my life, not being able to express myself as an athlete on the football field because of the political realm ahead of me. And then I got on the track and it all came out. It was one big explosion. I was like, this is it. All right, if I can show this is going to be, I already knew this was going to be my legacy. Because when I started winning, I was like, nothing's going to stop me. And this is my way to show my father that I know he's still there. This is my way to show my mother that I'm going to take the hard work ethic that she's trying to beat into me, literally, and show her that I can be successful on the track. Then I turned that track work ethic into business work ethic. Then I took that business work ethic and turned it into community service work ethic. I took that community service work ethic and became a spirit. I don't see myself as human. I see myself as spirit. Yeah, if I'm cut, I'm sure I bleed. Yeah, of course. But I see myself more of a spirit of opportunities, a spirit of happiness, a spirit of optimism, a spirit of, if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to go out there and do it. A spirit of everything I've experienced in my life has turned this boy into a man, into a spirit. And that's what it has all encompassed into.
What is the earnest movement?
The earnest moment is just taking sincerity of your dreams, the needs that you have in your life, and making it reality. The earnest movement is taking someone who's been through it all and saying, it's okay. You can be successful in life. The earnest movement is taking positivity, taking your word and applying it to action. That's the earnest movement.
You've inspired a lot of students that you've trained, even my niece, professionals at the highest of highest levels.
Yeah.
What message do you hope that they carry with them when they go home after working with you?
If I truly believe I want to achieve something, it can be done. Just have that positive outlook and just keep going. Go get it. Go get it. Nothing's stopping you. Literally nothing stopping you. There's no one holding you down. You want it, you go get it. And make people smile while you're doing it.
You mentioned legacy. How do you define legacy?
Legacy is you taking everything you've done in your life and people are watching it, seeing it, experiencing it, and saying, if he can do it, I can do it. His work, his platform of work has helped me become successful. That's not only legacy, that's wealth. People think of wealth, majority of the time, is money. Wealth and legacy kind of go hand in hand, because the legacy of Michael Jordan, is it because you wore his Jordan shoes or because you saw him work hard to win? That's the legacy of Jordan. The legacy of Ernest Wiggins is you saw a guy who took his failures, his nightmares, applied to positivity, not negativity, and decided to implode or explode and become someone negative in his world. He took everything he went through and made it positive. Not only did he make it positive, he became successful. Not only did he become successful, he became a Hall of Famer, someone whose name will live a lifetime and more, and he's helping me become that. He said he doesn't care about the money. The money is going to always be there, but he's helping me become the person I desperately need and thrive to be. That's what my legacy is. That's what I think of legacy and wealth. If I can take everything I've succeeded with and help you be successful, I can die right now and I'm like, I'm good.
It's hard for a lot of people to say that they've achieved a fraction of what you've achieved at the highest levels that you could achieve it at. What's still left in your bucket list?
What's left? To be honest with you, probably have children.
Yeah.
Have children. There's not much left, to be honest with you. I've done everything I've set out to accomplish. I'm just a spirit, man. And everything that you see happening, I'm not that type of person that sits there and say, if I don't do it, I can't live. What's left is what you see. Other than having children, you see it. People who know me, they smile. Ernest,
it's hard not to smile around you.
Right?
You're always smiling.
Yeah, and I'm not being cocky about it or anything, but it's just the truth. People who know me are happy around me. People who know me and know my story, they're happy, and they're elevated when I come around because I want them to be elevated. That encompasses who I am. That encompasses the moment that I've reached my wealth. And again, people will get that confused with how much money you make. Money will always be there if you do it the right way. Correct. I don't need or want for anything. I need or want, I guess you could say the only thing is children. Other than I have everything I want in my life.
Let's have some fun.
Let's do it.
Actually, before we go there, I just want to ask a question because I know there's a lot of people out there that are probably watching you right now and and go, I wonder how he has this mindset. I wonder how he has this mentality. Do you have any daily habits that have contributed to your success? Is there a secret?
Yeah, I pray every day.
That's it?
I pray every day.
I'm not demeaning praying, because I pray every day too.
Yeah.
But
so I pray every day. I listen to one or two of my favorite artists, one being Currency. And people probably like him, don't like him. He's an underground rapper, but he talks about business, having the right group of people around him, cars, of course, and that's my thing. And I love my life. I love when I wake up in the morning. I probably wake up before my alarm, and I sit there and say, life is good. I just woke up. I'll go out to my kitchen. My fridge is full. Life is good. And so, other than that, I pray every day. I probably go through my goals, but they're so ingrained. I don't have to sit there and look at a sheet of paper and be like, okay, I want to do this. I want to do that. I've done it already. I'm not one of those type of people who have to look at a plan. I don't have to look at a calendar or a map or an outline. I've already ingrained that in my brain. And that's where a lot of people make that mistake. And that's why a lot of people struggle to get up in the morning. They have to have that coffee in the morning. Sorry if you have to. I don't know if you do, but I don't have to have that coffee in the morning.
25 of them.
Yeah. Because I know already in the morning.
I just like the smell at this point in time. The caffeine doesn't do anything.
I like hazelnut. Hazelnut is my thing.
Is it?
Yeah, but if I drink coffee, it'll scare you, dude. I
can just imagine what you're like.
Yeah, but that's what gets me going in the morning. I wake up, I'm like, all right, it's time to make somebody a winner.
I love it.
Yeah.
What's something people would be surprised to learn about you?
I'm a big kid, and I love my movies. I love music. I just love being just a big kid. I'm a big kid, man. Like, the smallest things make me happy. Seeing a little dog makes me melt.
I know, we were just playing with one outside.
It makes me melt, man. I love animals. And I think just going back, the need for man companionship, that's probably the biggest thing people don't understand about me, because I lost my father at such an early age. But other than that, I'm a big kid, man. Just living this dream.
What's your hype song before a big event?
Probably Showroom by Currency.
Tell me that story.
Oh, man. Do you want the last night story? So we go back to the original. This makes my day. So I'm getting to learn this artist named Currency, and he's a great rapper. He's big into cars and business, again, like I said before. So I stumbled across this song called Showroom, and it goes like this. When the speedometer reaches 70 miles per hour, the spoilers deployed from the trunk. Less rim resistance, more power. You ain't said nothing like this once. And it talks about the car being in front of car and driver. And that right there just states my mentality. I love those type of cars, high-end cars. Now, don't get it confused with I want to look flashy. I like the art of speed. So when I heard that song, it just all of a sudden put me in a Porsche. It put me in a Lamborghini. It put me in a car going 200 miles per hour. It took me to Formula One. And that sold me right there. So anytime I need to get crunk, anytime I need to go 1,000 miles per hour, I'll put on Showroom by Currency. And secondly, it's probably Jay-Z, Kanye, T.I., and Jeezy. And Kanye, did I say Kanye already? Swagger Like Us. Swagger Like Us, pound for pound, the best collaboration song ever. So if you're in your cars, put that on, put those two on, you'll see what I'm talking about.
You had the opportunity to train with anybody, living, past, present, alive. Who would it be?
Train with anybody. It'll be Michael Jordan. Train with anybody. Michael Jordan. Mike Tyson.
Why?
And Lewis Hamilton.
Why?
Mike Tyson, the tenacity, the raw power, the fear he puts in other people, the chip on his shoulder that he experienced in his life. Michael Jordan, the professionalism, the clutch, the leader. Outside of, I guess you could say, Christopher Columbus or Hannibal, you will not know of a greater leader than Michael Jordan. Lewis Hamilton. You get in the fastest cars in the world and you're handling them like it's art. So in those little aspects, whether it's in the boxing ring or just training Mike Tyson, working with Michael Jordan, conditioning, agility, power, explosion, Lewis Hamilton with finesse, precision, top end speed, that right there encompasses utopia for me, for an athlete.
What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Go get it. Nothing's holding you back.
What's the worst piece of advice you've ever received?
You're built for nothing. You won't get it. You won't succeed.
Finish the sentence. At the end of the day, I want to be remembered as
the happiest human on earth. Simple.
What does it mean to live earnestly?
Live by the words I tell you I'm gonna live by. What I tell you I'm gonna do it. I want to uplift you and we all be successful together. It's easy to be that when you thrive to live earnestly because you're sincere, you're passionate. When you're passionate about life, things come at you a little bit easier. When you're sincere about the words you talk about, things happen a little bit easier for you and people trust and respect you. And at the end of the day, they love you because they know what you say you're going to do it, and they can trust that.
What's one story you haven't told yet that you've always wanted to?
Whew. Oh, man. A story? I would say not really a story. I could give it an outline, but my college life I went through hell to get to heaven. I went through a lot of things to understand who I was, both very bad and extremely good. I've stepped on a lot of hearts in college, men and women, coaches, advisors, teachers, because I was still trying to find myself. There was times I was playing a part that wasn't earnest. And there's some extremely dark nights in college. But at the same time, if it wasn't for Appalachian State, again, you wouldn't know who Ernest Wiggins is. So that story is a novel of a lot of different books, like the Odyssey. I think if I sat down with people and told them about my college life, it would scare them because I did some devilish things in my life in college. I did some heroic things in my day in college. Again, many faces of a Gemini. In college, there's a lot of bad things, a lot of good things that I experienced. There's some things that I did that I shouldn't have done. There's some things that they say, you know what, this is why I love him. And so I've never really talked about my college life outside of some people asking me about being on MTV, which was funny. But
should we talk about that? Because I've seen the videos.
We can't. It's up to you. I'm all about it, man.
Let's go for it.
I'm an open book.
Come
today.
on, man. Let's go for it.
Okay.
You were definitely the life of that party.
Yeah, I was the life of Appalachian State for a couple of years, and that TV show definitely. And it started out I heard it was a DJ from MTV playing at our homecoming. They were looking for extras to be on set. And so one of my good friends was like, hey, we're actually going to go work out that morning. There was 7 of us heading to go work out. It was like, yeah, man, let's go, go audition. Okay, cool. We go audition at the student union. I fill out my questionnaire. Apparently, I was one of maybe 3 out of 7 that filled out the questionnaire. I get a call back. Hey, would you be willing to talk in front of the co-producers and the executive producer? No problem. Sure. They're on the big screen. At the time, there was Skype. So they're in New York. And then, of course, you had the group down here in Boone. They were setting everything up. I did my part. I answered a few questions. Next thing I know, I was selected to be on MTV, Homecoming at Appalachian State. Don't look it up on YouTube. And I would say this.
I'm surprised they didn't give you your own show.
Everyone says that.
You wouldn't have needed Pauly D or Snooki or anybody else. You would have been the whole show all by yourself.
Yeah. So it was good times. Now, there were some edits there I didn't appreciate. But at the end of the day, yeah, it showed who Ernest was. I'm this happy-go-lucky guy who loves training because this is where I'm expressing my passion, my heart, my athleticism. But then there was this guy who wanted to, I finally became this physique that I'm getting this attention that I didn't get my freshman and sophomore year in high school because I was a runt. I was only 5'3" up until my junior summer, or going into my junior fall, So I've become this freak of nature, and I'm getting this attention that I've never gotten before. And next thing you know, it's on national TV. So that was cool. I had to apologize to my grandfather, whom I'm named after. And that conversation didn't go over quite well. But at the end of the day, I'm happy I did. I was in college. I was a student athlete in college, having fun. I wasn't stealing crab legs or stealing laptops. So, hey.
Why would you steal crab legs again?
Jameis Winston.
I know.
And
Why
then
would you do that?
Cam Newton stealing laptops.
What's one insecurity you still wrestle with?
Love, man. I guess you could say my heart.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say. I'll also say the love receiving from my mother. Love to me is big, because once I tell you I love you, and the amount of love I pour into you, I expect the same. And they always say, don't expect to receive what you give. And I guess you could say I'm dumb when I come to that, because I expect to receive the same amount of love that I give. And I give an infinite amount of love. And when I was growing up, I didn't receive the kind of love I wanted from my mother. So being able to give the type of love I give out to people, I want it back. My mother gave me a lot of financial love. And until recently, I guess you could say the last 10 to 15 years, I'm 42 now, so do the math. She's starting to try to somewhat show that she loves me with emotional attention, or you could say giving me a hug. And I never really got that from her growing up. So whenever I started growing up and I was able to give people hugs and love, and I'm getting that return, that's big for me. And it's still kind of an insecurity for me, because when I love someone, I need that back. And when I don't get it back, that's when the hunter, and I'm not talking about the happy hunter, the craven-like hunter comes out. And it's not a good thing, because you're getting so much from me, and if I'm not getting that back, I'm gonna let you know it. And it's been an insecurity, because it's hard for me to love. And when I love hard.
What's your love language, and how does it show up in your life?
I would say touch. Yeah, definitely my love language is touch, words of affirmation, acts of service. I really don't care about gifts. People who know me know I don't really care about gifts, because I was spoiled with that with my mom. I think she was trying to do a bit of, and don't get me wrong, my mother is a very good woman, extremely good woman. I wouldn't know a lot of things if it wasn't because of my mother, but she spoiled me through material things, and that kind of blinded me for a long time. And when I started becoming a really good athlete, that's when I started getting love from other people. And that's what I always needed. When I got to college, I started getting a lot of that love. Some of it was differently, and I didn't know how to differentiate that from real love to just physical love, if that makes sense. And I'm saying that in the most PG way I can, but I'm just going to be honest with you. And so I would say that's like the biggest whole insecurity thing that I always need, and something that it's been tough for me, man, because I'm a hard lover, man, you know?
What do you think you're still running from?
I'm not really running from much, but I think if I'm running from anything, just what like we talked about, is that love thing. I need to at some point become okay with me and my mother's relationship is the way it is. Still understanding the identity, and this is weird to say because I'm so confident in who I am. Sometimes I do have the clash. Again, you got to remember, I am a Gemini. Understanding who I am and what my purpose is. I know what my purpose is now, but there's still moments when it's like, especially during the hard times. What is it, Ernest? How are you going to make this happen? And then when you get around certain people, are you going to love them properly, or are you going to accept their love properly? It's hard. And I've struggled with love so much in my life because a lot of it was falsified. It was placebo. And getting real love, and you really start to accept it, you're like, finally, I get what I've been looking for. And it goes back to visualization, because there was a moment where I wrote down love forever. What is it going to be? This is what I'm looking for. I wrote it down. Now, again, I start thinking about it nonstop. And it got so ingrained, tattooed in my brain that I finally received the love. And for a little bit, I didn't know what to do with it. Then there was one moment when I said, let the love happen. Just let it be, because you got it now. You just got to polish it a little bit, because all great things that come to you is not going to be perfect. You got to polish it. It's going to come to you raw. So you got to polish it a little bit. And you got to just mold it just a little bit. But everything you've asked for when it comes to that love, in my experience, I've had to polish it just a little bit. And it's came to me the way I've gotten it. And I'm very blessed to have that love in my life.
I'm going to create a scenario for you.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you walk into a museum,
Mm-hmm.
but instead of paintings,
Mm-hmm.
each room represents a season in your life.
Mm-hmm.
What does the most painful room look like, and what lesson does it whisper?
The most painful room looks like you at the corner. It's a, let's say a picture, or I want to say a painting, because it's going to be the most ordinary almost painting you would think, but then the background is going to be scary. So you're at an intersection in the neighborhood, and you're at this intersection. To your right, you see this house. House is painted red and black. And in the background of the house, you see black, you see white, it looks like teary eyes, you see red, almost like blood's dripping. You'll see a scary face somewhere, you'll see a face yelling, you'll see death. That's what that painting looks like. That's what that room looks like. When you walk in that room, you feel horror. You feel like something is going to tear into you. You feel like you've heard a gunshot. And actually, if that room could actually have sound, you hear gunshots go off. You hear screaming. You hear yelling. You hear, why did this happen? You hear, I'm going to die. You're going to hear that in that room. And Steven Spielberg or Wes Craven, their greatest movies probably can't paint that picture because they haven't lived that picture. I've lived that picture. I've taken very important people to that corner and showed them that house. I almost saw my mother shot to death. That house, I saw some very scary things happen in that house. That house, literally, me standing on that porch, I saw a bullet, hit the pillar. And I'm standing right in front of that pillar. That house, I almost saw death 10 feet in front of me. That house, I saw a woman being beat. That house, I saw a woman push a man through a glass door. That house told me that I wouldn't amount to anything. That house saw me be beat up before. That house saw me hide in a corner of a closet. That house also saw me see my father as a ghost. That house also saw me laying in the bed while that ghost that was my father walked up to me, brushed the side of my face and say, son, everything is going to be okay. That painting in that room was horror, but that horror became a very dramatic action, comedy, success-filled movie, which is called Many Faces of a Gemini.
I love it. If your heart had a voice, what would it thank you for that your mind often ignores?
Never giving up. Simply never giving up. Thank you for never giving up. Thank you for never giving up. You failed more times than people know, but you never gave up. Thank you for loving this life when you could have died a few times, but you love life so much, the universe created ways for you to express me, your heart, to the world.
I love this question.
Mm-hmm.
Close your eyes.
Make sure you're nobody around me now.
There's nobody. You're on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Lights out.
Mm-hmm.
One spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
The audience is full of everybody you've ever worked with. Coaches, athletes, friends, everybody. What do you want them to remember you for when the curtain falls?
He wasn't afraid to try to be successful, and he wanted all of us to be successful. We're all here because we got better because of Ernest, because he lived through the definition of his name. We can laugh because of the crazy stuff he ever said, him being the big kid. We can cry because we saw him fall. We saw him struggle. We can cry because we also saw him stand up for us. When something wasn't right, he would take the bullet for us. He wanted to be our bodyguard. He was also that person when we succeeded, he lifted us the highest because he was happy for us. He didn't care about anything else. He just cared about living and just living in the moment and enjoying this life that we have only for a short time. And I can say right now that because of Ernest, I can live earnestly. And that's my man. I love him.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
If there's one piece of advice that you can give our audience to leave them with, all your successes, all your titles, everything you've ever done, all taken away from you. It's your time to go now. What are you going to share?
It's your moment. Live it. What are you afraid for? Live it. Who are you afraid of? Live it. Whatever your dream is, do it. Just do it. Try it. Do it. So what if you fail? Just do it. Live it. Be happy. Because what you're trying to do, someone is watching, and they're going to be lifted up, and they're going to try harder because they're watching you do the same thing that they're willing to try, but they're afraid to, but they're watching you. Live it. At the end of the day, you're actually lifting your inner child up even more. So just do it, man. What are you afraid of? Just live it. That's really it.
Thank you for being an amazing friend and a great guest.
Honest
For
mine,
sure,
man.
man.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
This has been beautiful.
It's been a blessing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We're just getting started. Amazing stories, expert guests, and real conversations you won't find anywhere else. Subscribe now and stay tuned. We've got so much more to share with you.